once again, thank you so much for joining us today. And it's a really nice topic. And yeah, like today, I would love to dive into something that's shaking up our whole field. I would say, like, what happens to human insight in the age of AI. Like, where this fascinating crossroads on where AI can assist our player research like never before, like speeding things up, generating insights like in seconds, in the blink of an eye, and it's just amazing. But it's not all smooth sailing. Like AI doesn't just enhance our work; it also challenges the very foundation of UX research overall, the empathy and context. So when we rely on it too much, we risk flattening the emotional depth and lived experience of our players. So this isn't just a talk about, well, tools and trends. It's about making sure that we don't lose the human core of our work. So let's get started. So first, when we bring AI into our player research, we're not just adding a new tool to our inventory. It's not like when, for example, like 10 or 15 years ago when we're just doing like moderated playtests and then it comes up like the unmoderated playtest. It's something new, something absolutely different. We are rewriting parts of our rulebook. AI can be incredibly helpful. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely great. And you can just, as fast as possible, just type a request prompt and get the answer. And it's absolutely fascinating. But this also opens up a part of like a serious ethical questions, like, are we still hearing the real player voice? Like, do participants actually know that how and which part of their data is being used? Are we slipping into bias or invisible automation without realizing it? In a way, AI challenges not just how we do research, but why we do it. And if we're not careful enough, we risk turning meaningful insight into stats stamp, or worse, making decision based on distorted or contextless outputs. So before we dive into some specifics, I want to share a bit of what I've been observing during this a year or so. So over the past year, while using AI myself, watching other researchers in gaming and beyond like started using it, I noticed something like, and it seems that there's like different levels of AI usage. So it's about different mindsets, different practices, and absolutely different risks. And that's what I want to walk you through today. We'll explore the common pitfalls and hidden ethical traps at each level. And if you have some more ideas about those pitfalls and ethical traps, like don't forget to drop your ideas in comments and ask questions. I'd be happy to have the conversation afterwards. And yeah, let's talk about how to move toward more responsible, human-centered use of AI in player research. So let's go with the first level, and I just decided to call like the dump at home. This is where it usually starts. You throw a prompt at the AI, like summarize this interview, or write a UX plan for a mobile game, or something similar, and just hope that that comes back and it makes sense. There is no review, no context, just copy, paste, and pray. The problem, well, this one I guess might be pretty obvious. Like, yeah, he's absolutely confident. Like, if you ask him, like, bring me exactly 45 types of motivations of players, why do they play games? And there might be no 45 actually this type of motivation. He will absolutely confidently like tell you like, hey, here's your list of 45 motivations, and he will just make like bring some ideas, some thoughts, even write for you like, hey, this particular research got this idea of this pattern of 45 motivations, and actually it's absolutely like it's nothing. There's nothing like this. It's absolutely made up, and AI is doing it so confident. So this is really a huge problem. AI is confident even when it's completely wrong. And it might repeat buzzwords, offer some generic or misaligned insights, or miss the actual point entirely. And here comes some ethical red flags. The player voice is distorted, no transparency, absolutely unclear consent boundaries, there are just none, and unchecked bias. So some examples, like absolutely it's blind, unreviewed use of AI, like, hey, what are the top 10 reasons games fail? summarize this interview. Just do this. That's all. And this is actually the first level, and most likely all of us, we've been at this particular level, and it's completely fine, but let's move on next. What we see on the second level, and I decided to call this one the task automator. Here, there's, again, at this level, there's no this kind of a human filter. There's, again, he's lacking of critical thinking, and there's no care for how player's voice might be distorted or flattened. The ethical red flags here are absolutely loud, again, because there's missing transparency, unclear consent, unchecked bias, and worst of all, the illusion that insight is just a button away. This is where AI becomes your go-to sidekick, I would say. You're just helping with all the routine stuff you probably not that want to, well, to make. Like, hey, transcription, hey, here's the video, just write it out. Survey questions, no problem. Like, hey, ChatGPT, give me 10 questions for this playtest. Or, hey, just pick up some key moments of this playtest or whatsoever. So these tasks seem simple, and that's exactly the trap. Like, we think like this is a low stake, I just want to save time, let AI handle it. And here is the thing that even these small tasks carry weight. A bad transcript can raise emotional tone. Generic questions for the survey can miss the real friction. And sometimes AI taking can overlook nuances or misinterpret some context. And here I can remember an absolutely incredible case that we had previously. So we had a unmoderated playtest, and also our player had on the background TV. It was quite loud, and he was watching basketball. So, and the whole the platform that we were using for these unmoderated playtests, it has like inbuilt AI stuff, and when we were reading the summary of this particular playtest, and the game was like, it was a shooter game or something like this, we had some conclusions like, the player disliked this basketball game. It was absolutely unclear how player just give the ball to another player. And we're like, what's happening? What was in this playtest? Like, do we actually use the correct build? So yeah, it's actually really crucial for us to check out, like, is it right? So yeah, it was great that we actually were checking this thing, but so let you know. Yeah, and I guess let's move on. Here's the third step, and I decided to call it the guided assistant. This is where AI actually starts to feel like a research partner. Yeah, you're not just delegating tasks, you're actively steering it. Like, you might say, here are the list of questions, please remove bias, or group these quotes by emotional tone, and then review them. So this one is more thoughtful, collaborative space, and it feels good. Like, seems like we found out the sweet spot, but again, as always, there are some risks. One of the biggest one, over-editing AI output instead of truly writing it. It's easy to get lazy and think like, well, AI got most of it right. I'll just pick a few words probably, but that can mean subtle biases or context error go completely unnoticed. And if I shaping how we structure the data, even slightly, we're starting still building on foundations we didn't fully design. And here comes again ethical red flags. Ethically, this is where bias gets more like trickier. It hides under this so-called helpfulness. The data looks polished. The tags absolutely make sense. Everything's perfect, but are we sure it's not smoothing over the emotion? So yes, it's progress, but we have to stay sharp, because at this level, it's very easy to think that we are in control when we're actually just refining the output of an invisible system. And again, some examples of the third level, like hey, just remove some bias from this survey or cluster player quotes, or draft a summary of pain points from these notes, and I'll refine it. So at this level, you have like you're providing to the AI more context, but it's still not enough, and we should be really cautious here. Let's move on to the fourth level, and this is where AI and the researcher finally feel like true co-partners, each with a role and each bringing value. You're giving the AI context about the game, the audience, the goals, the business goals, your research goals, and everything and using it to co-create. The key difference here is intent. You're not just asking for output, you're shaping it. You know what to look for. You refine it, you do some cross checks. But still, even here, the risks don't disappear, and it's completely fine. We might be a bit of overconfident, and overconfidence in AI's ability to understand context can creep in. You might forget to document how it was used. You might assume, well, validate means correct, and actually it's not. And ethically, again, we still have to ask, are we oversimplifying player intent? Are we giving AI too much say in shaping the narrative, or this kind of question? And this is actually a truly powerful level, but it still demands some intellectual honesty, constant reflection, and a clear commitment to transparency. Because at this point, the decisions we make with AI can really shape how our teams understand players, and that's not something we could and we should take lightly. As always, here we go, some examples, and here you can see that those examples of questions and prompts to AI are getting more and more advanced. And here, like, hey, given this particular mobile puzzle game and its player types, and again, you're providing those player types, like derived 5 emotional neutral through a question for potential motivation, for example. Or here's like compare usability pain points across free playtests and surface recurring themes, don't include duplicates. So you're shaping the output, you understand what's in it, you know how it was perceived, and you're just giving some context, you're framing the AI, and you're doing this correctly. And most importantly, everything should be transparent, and everyone should be aware of how, when, and in which particular cases the AI was used. And here we go, the final level of usage of the AI, the expert system. So this one is super advanced, and this is where AI becomes deeply integrated into research workflow. So it's not just a helper, but a part of the infrastructure. This is the ideal version, ideal type of usage of the AI. It's when you're not just using it in one particular or in some several cases, but you spend some time, you teach the AI somehow, you taught it how to work. You're working with really like a custom-tuned models, and ideally they were trained on your own data, on your formats, your language, and your way of interpreting play behavior. So there's a lot of context. There's the whole context behind and the background about the project itself, about the questions, about the different other researches that you have conducted previously. And here it does, like at this level, the AI should constantly carry the background of the project, not just technically, but contextually. It needs to know the game genre, the player type, the study goals, like any type of nuances of specific requests. So it should be constantly updated by you. And yeah, it's definitely, you need to spend some time to make this, and it is actually worth it. But here's the thing that, again, the more advanced it gets, the easier it is to trust it blindly, and it's not great. And this is the specific of complex systems. There might become some white boxes, and tool biases go unnoticed, and worst of all, decision-making gradually shift from researcher to the machine, and without anyone even meaning and knowing for that to happen. So ethically, it becomes harder to track consent, the data usage, and emotional integrity. And yes, bias can still scale, and should be aware of it. We should track it. We should know what to do and know what's happening. So the fifth level is where the power lives, but also where responsibilities grows. If we want expert system, we need to build the system, build them with expert awareness. So it's not just smart AI, but context-aware, ethically aligned, and always grounded in human judgment. Again, some examples, and here you can see that our like prompts from the very beginning to now they're getting more and more advanced. And here's like the most advanced type of prompts that you might have, like using our past 10 projects or 5 projects, some player segments, some generate new onboarding UX texts, test criteria for mid-core strategy games, or like you're just giving the examples of those particular games. So here the AI strain knows the context, but we should be aware that we should like continuously we should update it. And this is the point. And I want to say that this level it's actually fascinating, super powerful, but yeah, we need to put, well, to spend some time to work on it. So overall, what I wanted to say that it was the 5 level of using the AI, like from chaotic prompting to context-rich collaboration. And we've seen how AI can support player research and where it can quietly go off the rails. And here's the takeaway. AI isn't the enemy. I'm not going to say like, hey, don't use it, never. It's not here to replace us, but it's here to challenge us, to raise the bar. So if you want to use it well, here are just the rules of the game. Like, don't forget, be transparent. Like, let your team and stakeholders know when and why AI is used and how. Don't forget to review AI output. Yeah, never trust it blindly because it can just mess up everything. AI here is to assist, not to decide. You are the decision maker, you are the researcher, so don't forget about it. About prompting, always prompt with purpose. Don't forget that the quality of the output is, it depends on the quality of your prompts. So yeah, don't forget also about the context. Respect consent and context, because this is the thing that we should be aware of, especially with real player data. No shortcuts, like no assumptions. Always say everyone like, hey, this part, it was AI. Don't forget to update it, audit for hidden bias. Yeah, models, they learn from us, so including our blind spots, actually. So don't forget to check and then check again, and again. It's not just a, well, just a one task. It's a huge process. And last but not least, use human judgment first, because especially when things get messy, emotional, or ethical gray, that's where we're needed the most. So yeah, I would say that AI might be good at patterns, but we are better at meaning. And yeah, actually that's all for my part. Thanks so much for joining this walkthrough. And let's keep building research practices that are smart, ethical, and still deeply human. And yeah, don't forget to drop your questions.
Thank you so much. All right, we can have some questions, maybe like 1 or 2 questions now, and then after the whole panel.
Yeah, I can see an amazing question about like how deep or detailed context is enough for AI to get the best outcome quality, but avoid red flags. An amazing question. I guess be never possible to avoid all the red flags we should be aware of, and we should check, double check, triple check each other and check the AI about the process, not just one text. And I would say the ideal level of contextual detail for AI is to maximize output quality while avoiding privacy or security red flags. And it really depends on the test, but like if I would say like for a general framework, so first, yeah, we did like a really good context, like high quality, safe details. It means like we should ask the AI its role definition, and you're like telling him, hey, imagine like you're a UX strategist working with mobile game, you're calling the genre developers, then you're asking about and telling the project scope, like what's happening at this particular moment where you're going to prompt the AI. Then it's better to ask about the process overviews, like what are you going to use, what you want to get, what ideas, what other ideas, other cases, our research methods, also the AI can suggest, for example. And these should be aligned with your goals and outcomes. And this is also one thing that you should write as detailed as possible. And constraints, like tell like I'm usually when I'm using like the ChatGPT, for example, I always like saying, hey, ChatGPT, if there's no like for example, I want to get like top 3 the biggest issues of the last 5 playtests, for example. But imagine that actually there's no 3 issues, there's only 2. Well, in this case, I'm usually like telling him like, hey, if there's no 3, just write me the correct example, show me the correct part that actually that's issues that arise. So I'm really trying to avoid this situation that he absolutely confidently says like, hey, here we go, 3 issues. And I completely don't care if I just made that up. And about, yeah, the risk context, like it's the thing that we should avoid or anonymize any type of personal identifiable information, some sensitive internal data, like release product specs, salary data, I don't know, some client-specific secrets, some strategies, maybe NDAs, like anything just related to this. And also, it's better to avoid some financial or legal data unless you have like a absolutely secure platform that is specifically designed for that. So yeah, long story short, sorry for this really long answer, but yeah. I really hope that I answered the question.
Nice. I think Daniil seems happy. And we have another one from Mine.
Yeah, I can see the question in which part of the research process was the most successful one where you work with AI. And to be honest, I really don't want to answer this question because the Chunhui's speech will be just amazing. Like the one will be answering this question. But yeah, just a small hint for myself. I really enjoy using AI at the very beginning. Do you use it like a co-host, co-creator, co-researcher for hypotheses, for understanding, especially, for example, a new genre, a new case, a new specifications. In this case, it's absolutely helpful. It brings exact links where I can go and check out all the information. I can discuss with you some ideas, some hypotheses, some possible questions I might even ask to the customer, for example, to our stakeholders. So at this very beginning, this case, yeah, I truly enjoy using it because it's like really powerful tool which helps you to get answers to all your almost all of your questions. But again, I'm constantly asking you to bring like the particular references, and I'm doing the double check to see like if it's if he's not lying. So yeah, and then I hope that Chunhui will just amazingly present all her presentations. So yeah,